What up, you bunch of fucking twang dwanglers? Yep, twang dwanglers. It's my word. I made it up. So this fucking is part 2 of the medieval tavern. And I know I'm not gonna do any more 2-parters. This was a fuck up. It took too long to draw, and I had to break it up into 2 parts because it was just too damn long. And I know it's fucking boring. 6 days go by and then, it's the same fucking drawing. So I'm not going to do any more 2-parters, at least for a long time. So anyway, here we go. Okay, so this part here of the video, I decided that the top of this little outcrop thing, the roof, and then where it intersects with the main roof, didn't really make any sense. I'm still not sure if it really does make any sense, but I basically just decided to do a little cutout to accommodate the main roof section coming through, and it makes the little outcrop thing look a little more interesting, visually interesting. As you can see, I kind of didn't want to redo the chimney, just being lazy, so I kind of just moved it out of the way, then replaced it in a different spot. This whole drawing is kind of a big experiment in just trying to figure out ways to kind of cut corners and do things not super meticulous, because drawing buildings and architecture can be extraordinarily tedious because there's a lot of repeating forms, a lot of things that just repeat over and over again, little sections that you have to do in detail and then do similar or same sections a dozen times over. So you'll see a lot of me grabbing stuff, duplicating stuff, just generally trying to get away with stuff where I can that wouldn't really make any difference. So I'm moving on here to the texturing the outside sort of layer of the building, which, little history fact, medieval houses that look like this, these timber frame constructions, were actually, the walls were made out of partly shit, animal shit. They used a technique called wattle and daub, which is where they would take and some strong plant fibers, I don't know exactly what the plants were, weave them together into a wicker wall section, and then they would mix up water and clay and animal shit and smear it all over the wicker for to make it more solid and block the air out, and then they would whitewash it. So yeah, whenever you see a building like this, traditionally, historically, they were literally made out of shit. So as I'm texturing this, I'm just using this. This was kind of the first shot at texturing any part of this that I was doing, and I just grabbed a watercolor splatter brush from the default brushes in Photoshop. Just kind of gave it a brown color, and I'm just kind of throwing in staining around where the beams are and stuff, trying to make it look like years and years of rain and sludge and shit washing down. It's really not terribly effective. I don't really like how this looked, but at this point I was really trying to cut down on the time I was spending on this piece. So here I'm trying to kind of figure out what I want to use to texture all the wood parts, because there's a shitload of them, and I don't want to do something that's overly tedious and that's going to take too long. So I'm trying to go through a few different ideas. Here, as you can see with these windows, I'm just grabbing the original crisscross pattern that I did for one of the windows and just duplicating it over all the rest of them, pulling and stretching and skewing them to fit the whatever window I'm putting it on. Because, no need to trouble oneself with redoing things. As simple as that. Yeah, here you can see the incredibly shitty line work. Those bricks were the first ones I did. Those stones there. And
you can tell it's totally different line weight, because this entire drawing is just one big kind of experiment. So different methods on different parts. Here I'm doing that. I kind of took a wood texture off the internet, made it more transparent, and then just duplicated it across this whole balcony thing. Didn't really work out great. That's why I eventually did the different method that you'll see. But it was just took a shot at it and then changed. That's another thing. And during a piece, you can always change your method. Try something out, you don't like it that much, no harm in just scrapping it and going to something different. Okay. So here I'm doing the same thing I did for the bottom stone work down on the bottom of the building. I'm just taking random sort of stone-like colors and picking and choosing random stones to change to make each different color, just to mix it up and give it some variety and give it that nice little sort of stone look. But it gives it some interest and some flavor and some color. Like some different stones were used. And it looks more fantasy-like, if all the stones are kind of, some of them are reddish, some of them are more blue. And then I'm just taking a soft brush and running a fairly transparent dark gray in where the cracks are to kind of try to give those stones a little dimension. I think I did a lot better job on the tower part than the bottom part. The bottom part looks really flat and shitty. But I just left it the way it was, because by the time I got to the latter 30% of this piece, I was just trying to get it done because I was kind of bored with it, to be honest. And that happens sometimes. Sometimes you've invested as many hours as you want to do in a piece, and it's not even close to done, and you just gotta fucking power through. So here is like my favorite thing I did on this whole piece was this smoke effect. So all I did was I took like a sponge brush and just splattered some different transparencies of light gray, and then I took the smudge brush and just smudged it. And this was a happy little surprise. Lo and behold, it makes this cool looking, fairly realistic but still kind of fantasy-esque smoke effect. So trademark that. You can take that one to the bank. All the extras. Yeah, and this whole drawing is just kind of simple shit like that, duplicating stuff, just fixing the perspective on this little tower. I kind of left out a whole side of the roof where what it would actually look like, because it's like what would that be, like an octagonal structure, and I kind of had it looking hexagonal. Little things like that. And as you can tell, that's one of the parts of the piece that I did freehand, perspective wise, because it's just off. All right, I hope you guys like that one. I'm definitely going to try to make the next one more of a snappy video. Try to put it out within the next 3 to 4 days and kind of make up for this drag ass of a video this time. And see you on the next one. Go fuck yourselves.